And we kick things off with a very volatile segment in the ring involving the bloodline. We got Sami Zayn, we got Jimmy and Jey Uso, we got Solo Sikoa tearing up shit at ringside once again as they greet their tribal chief, the head of the table, the reigning defending WWE champion, Universal champion, I should say, Roman Reigns. And the entire bloodline is in the ring. And Roman Reigns is going to defer to Sami Zayn. And Sami gets a great ovation from the crowd. And Sami talks about how 2023 is the Bloodline's year. We ran roughshod on Monday Night Raw. We've beaten everybody there is to beat on that show. We beat Elias. We took out the Street Profits of Kevin Owens. We're here to tell anybody that the Bloodline is the power. We are the face of this company. We run shit here. You just live here, to paraphrase Training Day. And Roman grabs the mic and he says, you know what? That's great. But I want to talk about last year. I want to talk about what happened on the next to last day of 2022. Because Sami, you called your shot. You said that you was going to win the match against John Cena and Kevin Owens. You. And normally I'm the one that calls my shot and I don't miss. But you called the shot and you missed. I didn't lose. You lost. My shoulders weren't pinned to the mat. Yours were. And Sami at this moment is realizing, oh shit, I'm in a little bit of trouble. But the trouble became a lot of trouble very quickly when Roman raised his voice and says, do you want to be the tribal chief? Are you trying to be me? Do you want to be me? And Sami is slowly backing away in the corner in fear of his life. The Usos looking side to side like, oh shit, he's in trouble. Paul is just stressed out in the back. Like he knew this was coming. Sami's life is flashing before his very eyes as Roman says, do you want to be me? Do you want to be the tribal chief? And as this is happening, Kevin Owens saves Sami's life to say, you're not mad at Sami, Roman. You're really mad at me in more ways than one, in reality and in kayfabe, for that eardrum busting at Survivor Series. But it's really about me, Roman. You're mad about losing indirectly on the next last day of the year, but we can solve all of that. How about you and me have a match for the Undisputed Universal Championship at the Royal Rumble, and we can end this right then and there. And Roman just doesn't give a fuck, like, whatever, you're nothing to me. It's on. I really don't care about you. And Kevin has some sound advice for Sami Zayn to wrap up part one of this story, in that please take your balls out of Roman's pocket and give them back to yourself, because this isn't it. And I loved how he left things for the moment as Sami Zayn realized that I am on very shaky ground within the bloodline. But I do got to shout out the backstage segment prior to the juiciness of it all, when Jimmy Uso, who's been my dog this entire time with Sami Zayn, as he went into the locker room, he told Sami, damn dog, and just went in the room, because even he said, you know what? You're fucked, but I love you. And that's how we end part one of this segment. So Scott, your take on Sami Zayn getting read for filth by Roman Reigns to kick off Smackdown on Fox.
I think Roman cut a great promo. When he went 0 to 100 real quick, that was excellent. And I got to say, the highlight for me in all of these segments is Paul Heyman. Him in the background, whenever the mood shifts, his face shifts. When Roman went 0 to 100, Paul Heyman took a step back, covered his mouth, and said, oh, here we go. And you could see it all in his. That dude displays so many emotions just with his face. The Usos were looking down, scratching their heads, like, and again, you can tell every member of the Bloodline's personality just off of their reactions and their facials. Solo is just there, dude, stoic, ready to go and just tear somebody up. He's just waiting on the call. He can't wait to put that thumb into Sami's throat. He's asking for that day. He can't wait. But this is a great segment. Like, they're so enjoyable. And, you know, the whole hostile takeover thing that they try to do, you know, the NWO style takeover, that's fine. It's fine. They're not quite like that, because they're still losing matches. But as far as everything with the story and how they're doing that with Roman, and especially what happened later before the tag match and that part, this is really good stuff, man. And especially now that it feels like we're getting closer to the end game, all of these segments feel more important because we're kind of at the point now where it's like we don't know when Sammy's getting that beat down.
It's coming very soon. I don't know if it's coming in Montreal, it's coming on a random SmackDown, but we know the beatdown is coming soon. But Paul, your take on the opener of SmackDown involving Roman Reigns reading Sami Zayn and almost ending his life in kayfabe, because I was scared for Sami for 2 good minutes.
This was so good because, I mean, at the end of last week when Sami lost the match, you knew it was coming. And you don't know when, but you assume it's soon. And they lead you in such a way to believe that, okay, it may not happen, like, even in that opening promo, like it may not happen tonight, but it's happening very soon. And then they just go, and then they did the backstage thing later, and it's like, oh, it's not happening. And then now it's like, okay, this could go on for like 3-4 more months now. Like they're just so good at pulling those strings. And everyone is playing their roles to perfection. Scott mentioned Jay, and you mentioned Paul Heyman, and like just even his, like, what is it that he calls Sami? Is it Shmooly? Where he has a name that he calls him, and like he's like, I still love you, Shmooly, or whatever it was that he said. Like when they're outside the door, and he, like, they know, like he wants to talk to Roman, and Paul's like, no. And he's like, he doesn't want to talk to you right now. You don't want to go in there. And then he's like, but I still love you, Shmooly. And then later on when, they're okay again. And Paul's like going back to the Shmooly thing again. And he's like, it's just, oh my God, it's so beautiful. And we have no idea what's going on with Solo. Like he could literally, churn and snap and break Sami in half. He could churn on Roman. Like it could be anything. And it's way too good for like what we normally get from this. And I don't want it to end, but I do want it to end because I want it to get to the next level at some point, but I'm just enjoying it for what it is while it's happening.
Me too. It's great television, the best damn storyline in professional wrestling today. Yes. I absolutely adore it. And I want to get to part 2 right now, as it was before the main event. And Sami is granted access to Roman Reigns' locker room once again. Paul makes a call. And this is gaslighting at its best because Roman tells Sami to sit. And Sami's remorseful, saying, I'm not trying to be you. I don't want to be the tribal chief. That's you. I'm not trying to overstep. I respect you. I love the bloodline. Hope you love me. I'm sorry if I offended you. And Roman Reigns says, I don't accept your apology. Like, oh God, he's going to kill Sami right here. But Roman Reigns, noted gaslighter extraordinaire, says, I should be the one to apologize, Sami, because I lost my cool. And I am supposed to set the example for all of us. And I let myself down, and I let you down. And I'm sorry. I apologize. And Sami's smiling like, oh my God, Roman's apologizing to me? I'm off the hook. I'm excited. Somewhere, Jey Uso's crying because he never got that apology in 2.5 years. And he's got yelled at, gaslit multiple times, and Roman never apologized to Jey for going off on him in public. But Sami gets that apology. But it's not all roses, as Roman wants Sami to still find a way to redeem himself. So Paul Heyman slides to the couch and says, hey, Sami, next week, to prove your worth to the bloodline, you will face your former best friend, Kevin Owens, live in Green Bay on SmackDown. And Sami's like a little trepidatious, but he's willing to do this for his tribal chief. So spoiler alert, when Sami loses next Friday, this is going to cause even more drama within the bloodline, and Roman will not be so kind next time, Paul, regarding Sami failing to take out Kevin Owens again.
No, and I mean, and it's like we can see it. Like we just know that he's fucked, like, pardon my French, but then, they might throw another curveball and say, like, or maybe like he's not going to win, he can't win, but maybe he hurts him afterwards or something, and maybe it's all part of a plan, and we extend this. But I do think, I mean, next week is what, is it a week? No, it's 2 weeks before the Royal Rumble. So I think that the Royal Rumble is where, we need to get some definite advancement on this, especially if, we're hoping to have some sort of a Roman Reigns or Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn either against each other or teaming at that Montreal pay-per-view. So, like, there's something got to be coming soon. So again, like, it's just like as soon as they announce that, it's like, oh wow, and then it's like, oh no. I mean, it's like, and if you're a fan of Sami, it's like, wow, the match is gonna be good, and the story is gonna be great, but you also know he can't win, and then it's like, oh no, what's gonna happen to him? But I think even if we like Sami, we kind of want him. We want this to finally, whatever's going to happen, we want it to kind of happen so he can get to the next point, but we also don't want to see him get killed. So yeah, it's too good. It's too good.
It's so good. It's going to be a tragic day when it
Yes.
ends. I will cry. I'm not going to lie. I will cry when Sami Zayn gets his ass kicked by the Bloodline. When Solo lands at Samoan Spike, I will cry. No lie. I think Jimmy and Jay will feel remorse before joining in the beatdown, as Scott suggested, but it's going to be a sad day in WWE when Sami loses access to the Bloodline. But Scott, your thoughts on Roman gaslighting the ever-loving hell out of Sami Zayn in the name of love?
So, again, Paul Heyman for me was the star of this whole thing. When Roman was talking about it, and he said, no, I do not accept your apology. Paul in the back sat back and was like, oh no. And you could see it in his face, like, here we go. And he goes, I apologize to you. Paul Heyman again kind of he had that same look on his face he had when Brock Lesnar went, hey, Paul, knock, knock. That same perplexed look. That's the look he had when Roman said, no, I apologize to you. And, it had me thinking, obviously this is not where they're going, but if they ever did want to turn the Bloodline babyface, all you would have to do is have some nice monster heel group. Well, I guess they wouldn't be nice, but some monster heel group come in and just destroy Sami Zayn. And Roman Reigns come in and be like, nobody attacks Sami like that. And they'd be baby faces just like that. It would be that easy because Sami Zayn has that much sympathy built up to where when Roman's talking, if you're not someone who knows where this storyline's going and you're just kind of seeing it as it goes and you're not familiar with wrestling, you might see this and be like, oh, okay, so they're good. But we know where wrestling's going. We know wrestling. We know where this story is going to go. And I love it, man. I am fully invested in this. And I think Sami Zayn, Cody's the guy, but man, Sami is going to be a hard guy to keep in the tag division when this is all done.
It is very difficult. He is going to be a breakout star this year. I would love the WrestleMania story of him and KO winning those tag team titles. But at some point, you do want him to go after the biggest fish in Roman Reigns. Whether Roman is still champion by then, we'll see. But I love the story so much. And Paul Heyman will always be the face MVP serving 20 emotions in one segment. He does not miss. And I love that